So today I wanted briefly to review Google Slides, which is one of the options under your Google Drive app, and that is the equivalent to the Microsoft Office PowerPoint. So we're going to go over using Slides as a presentation app. But one of the things that really makes Google Slides different is what you can do with the slideshow after you've made it. So for example, on the screen now, you're looking at a slideshow that we've embedded in a web page that the Youth Center is using for their digital signage. So when you go to the Youth Center and you look at the TVs there, you'll see this on the screen. This is also what we're using at the Town Hall and the Senior Center. It's a great way of embedding content as something like a digital sign. It's also something that you could put on a web page. So if you wanted to put a photo collage or updated content or something more dynamic on even your first class web page, we can embed a PowerPoint presentation or a Google Slide presentation into that. And when you update that presentation, you're in effect updating that web page. So it makes the web page a little more dynamic and easy to update. So getting into Slides, so like most everything else, we are going to go to our grid. And we can go, like we did with the other lessons, directly into Slides. So again, this is kind of like going in your start button and opening up PowerPoint. So what you're going to see when I go in there is all of my recent presentations that I've done in Google Slides. You'll also notice that if I'm storing PowerPoint presentations in Drive, it will list all of the PowerPoint presentations as well. So Google Drive will allow you to preview a PowerPoint presentation and even do some editing. But like most things in Google, you're not going to have the full functionality unless you're using the native Google app. So really quickly, there was a post about this a while ago, but I just want to point out, if I click on more up here, that there are a lot of very attractive templates for Google Slides, some simple ones and some things to get you some ideas and places to jump off. This is one of the places that I think Slides does a better job of PowerPoint in terms of making simple, impactful presentations. And I can click back to get back to my sort of screen here. As always, I still have access to my grid to open additional apps. And if I click on my menu over here, I can jump to Docs or Sheets or Slides or even right into Drive. So it's kind of like the Microsoft Office landing page. So in this case, I'm going to open a slide that I've already been working on a little bit. I could also create a blank or one from my templates here. But this is one that we did for the beginning of town meeting. So you can see that you can do some pretty attractive stuff in Slides. I've actually, in this place, just pasted a picture of the town seal as a starting slide. In this case, I've just got some text. I've got some pictures and some text. And so we're going to go over how to do that and kind of walk through the different parts of the slide. So if I look up at the top, very similar to Microsoft Office, I can go over to my slide home and jump back there. I can jump back into the slide I was working on. Like everything, we're going to want to give it a good name. So for all Google Docs, that name is going to go up here. This is a start item, so this just sort of makes it a favorite. It adds it to my start items inside Drive if I wanted to do that. Like all Google Drive items, I can organize that and put that into a folder anywhere in my Google Drive here. If I go down, I've got my file option that's going to give me some sharing options. We'll get into that at the end. I can create a new Google Doc from here, very similar to Office. I can open an existing one. I can go ahead and rename it, or I could just click up here to do that. Making a copy as a reminder in Google Drive is kind of like save as, because everything is saved live. There is no save as. There's a make a copy, which is going to take that. That's going to name it copy of, and then I can move it where I want it, give it a different name, and sort of use that as save as. Organize is the same as the folder. Move to trash, obviously delete. Import, that's if I wanted to import slides from another show or from a PowerPoint presentation that I could upload. It's something you're not going to do very often. The revision history, just like in all Google Drive apps, it's going to save every version of this back to the beginning. So if I wanted to go back and restore a previous version or see changes, I'm going to be able to do that. You're probably going to be working in English. We're not going to change that. A very nice feature found in most Google Drive apps is that once I've created it, if I want to, I can easily export that as a PowerPoint presentation. I can download it as a PDF. I can convert it into an image. So there's all kinds of convenient ways to package that up and make it available to other people if you don't want to keep it in the native format. One of the nice things about the converting from Google is it's pretty much 100% perfect. So if I'm going from a Google slide to a PowerPoint presentation, it's going to look exactly like the way I made it. You can, like docs and sheets, import from PowerPoint into slides. That's probably still about 95, 96% perfect, where some of the formatting may need to be cleaned up once you pull that into slides. It's easier just to start in slide and then go to PowerPoint later if you want. This publish to the web option, I'll talk about that a little more at the end, but that's how I'm going to put that onto a web page. And this is something I can certainly help you with. So if you've got a PowerPoint presentation, or you want to get something on your department webpage where you want to get pictures, or you want to get some other content that you want to play or have available, this is a nice way of making your webpage a little bit more dynamic. And there are features in there where you can set the time in between slides, you can set the size, you can set other things. And then again, when you go in and you make changes to the slide, it's automatic. The webpage is going to reflect the current content of that show once somebody refreshes or revisits that page. Emailing collaborators, again, if you're sharing it and you've made changes to a slideshow, that will send them a link letting them know that you changed it. And emailing as attachment is very similar than download as, but it'll automatically email that as a PDF or a PowerPoint, etc. We're not, these are just sort of basic page setup, and you can change the size, and you could print this if you wanted to. I'm going across, very basic stuff. We're going to get in the presentation and view. One of the nice things is, because this is a Google product, if I go into a slide, so let's say, so just like PowerPoint, if I went in here and I did a new slide, it's going to go throw a new slide to where I was. I can go in and I can insert a text box, I can insert a picture, I can insert a chart. And one of the nice things, this integration here, if I have a Google spreadsheet with a chart in it, I can embed that chart right from there. And again, because it's drawing the information from the Google spreadsheet, that will dynamically update. So if I update that spreadsheet and that chart, I can update my presentation at the same time, so it's all linked. I can insert a video. So if you've got a YouTube video link, you can actually just paste that in. Or I can search or do that, and it sort of embeds a video right into your slide, which is kind of cool. I can do word art. If I wanted to make something a little fancier, or a line or a shape or a table, I could put slide numbers in. Comments, you see down here at the bottom that I can do that as well. There's a place to add notes for the presenter, and we'll get into that a little bit. So it's very similar to PowerPoint if you're familiar with it. I can insert new slides. I can duplicate slides or delete them. I can change my background. I can change the layout for that slide. So if I wanted to change it into a title, etc., I can do that. I can change the entire theme. So if I wanted to go back and pick a different style or template, that's going to let me go and do that from that some basic themes as well, and I can just close that. I can do the transition. So if I wanted to do a special effect in between slides, I can do a fade or a slide or a flip, etc. If I go to a slide itself and I wanted to make this an animation, I can go over here and I can change the transition, or I can add an animation for that to have it fade in. I can also right click on that component, and I can do animate, and then I can pick a fade in or some other option for that object on the page. So personally, I usually recommend you don't go crazy with that, because if you're doing a presentation, it can be annoying waiting for every piece of text to slide into the presentation. You can copy and paste as well. If I have text from something else or a picture, I can go to a new slide and I've got all my options. I can paste and I can do I can do different options. So really a lot of features. The best thing is to pick a template or just start a new show and just play with the different options that you can do. If I've got text highlighted, just like in everything else, I can highlight that, I can bold it, I can change the font and the formatting and the centering, and I can do all different kinds of stuff. One of the things you can do is you can rotate, you can center, and if I do have an object, if I right-click on the object, let me go and pick something like this picture here. I can order on the page, so I can actually, if I'm stacking things, I can send it to the front or to the back. If I wanted a text to a display on top of a picture or something, for example. So if you're familiar with PowerPoint, it's going to be pretty similar in the terms of how you work with the different tools. So that is what is going to give you your presentation. So again, in that respect, it's not very much different from PowerPoint. Where it is different is what you can do with the presentation once you've had it, once you finished it, or while you're working on it. So if I'm working on this PowerPoint presentation, let's say I'm getting ready for a meeting, and I want to have somebody collaborate on that with me, I can go up to share, and I can share that. So you can see this was a town meeting thing. So I was actually sharing this with Joyce. So she has editability. So she can go in there and start making changes, or we can be in there at the same time, or we can invite additional people. So you can really accelerate the pace at which you develop a presentation and get feedback from everybody. And because track changes are on, you can see the changes everyone made and go back to a prior version if you don't like a change that somebody made. You can also add comments. So if you wanted to make a comment sort of on the side about something without changing the presentation, you can do that as well. So once everything's ready, very simply, so you can see there's a present up here. So if I click that, it will launch into the presentation. So in this case, it started on the slide I was on. You can see I've got a list of all my slides. So if I wanted manually to sort of change where I was in the presentation, I can do that pretty easily. I can also advance through the slides by clicking, just like in PowerPoint. There is an autoplay if I press the play button. Unfortunately, there's not really a good way to set the timing on this. You would do that by embedding it in a web page. But generally, you're going to be doing a manual presentation. There's a couple new features that they've rolled out. So one is this highlighter. So I can actually, so you can see that animation I added to that page when I clicked the rest of the text, but I can use the cursor now as a highlighter. You can also go in and out of full screen. So this is if you were going to give a presentation, plug it into a projector just like you would PowerPoint. And the nice thing with this is because it's in the cloud, your presentation is always with you. You can go to any computer or any device that has internet access and be able to call up this presentation by signing into your account, give the presentation. You don't have to bring a thumb drive. You don't have to have a certain laptop. And because it is a Google Sheet or a Google slide, so I'm just going to hit escape to get back out of here. I can go to share, and just like any Google Doc, I can go under specific people, and I can allow anyone with the link or even anyone on the whole web to have access to read or to view that PowerPoint presentation. So I could actually share that presentation with a vendor or with a board or with somebody halfway across the country, and they're going to be able to see that PowerPoint or that slideshow as if they were sitting in the room watching it. So that's kind of a cool feature. There's a couple of other new features with that. So if I click on present, if I had a Chromecast or something else, I could actually push that out to another screen. I can decide if I want to go to the beginning. But there's this new feature called presenter tools. So if I'm giving that presentation to a room of people, so I could have the presentation up on the screen, but on my laptop or tablet, I could be seeing this little toolkit here. So you can see that I've turned on this ask a question option. So everyone seeing the slideshow is now seeing this ask a question. So if they were to type that into their browser on their mobile device, they would be able to submit a question here. And then I would be able to see those questions. And people can actually vote on the question. So if they're looking at the audience and they go to that page, they'll be able to see questions that other people asked, and they can upvote them or downvote them, so we can sort of get a sense for which is most popular. And if there's something that I really wanted to share with the audience, I can actually present questions on the screen that people have asked. You can see over here that it's giving me a counter, and I can navigate through my slides and control which slides people are seeing through this little control panel. It gives me a little bit more control. The new version of PowerPoint has all of this as well. I can also jump over to my speaker notes. If I've added any notes on that slide, it'll give it to me right here, so I don't have to read it off the slide, and I can use that as kind of talking points. So that's kind of a cool piece. And if you're doing something like I'm doing today, which is doing a Hangout on Air and giving this presentation, you can actually take this presentation and make it part of a YouTube video that you can then reshare. So lots of different features and functionality in slides. And again, I could take that PowerPoint or the Google slide, and I could embed it in a web page that I could use for all kinds of purposes. So we're doing more and more with the digital signage, making signs available. Instead of having to log into a special program in order to manage that, you can do it right through your Google account and basically update a TV somewhere, update your web page. If I had shared this presentation with someone and I made changes to it, they're going to get the recent version of it, just like in other Google Doc formats. So of all the Google Doc formats, between Docs and Sheets, etc., Slides, I think, is by far the most seamless and the easiest to use, and I think is one that I'm very comfortable saying is actually better than the Office version in a lot of different ways, and in terms of just making attractive and easy to use slideshows. So I don't see any questions coming up on the screen, so I will get this video edited and posted next week. And thanks again for everybody who joined us. All right, thank you.